Hey, folks. Okay, so it's an interesting day. I want to begin with the healthcare stocks. We've been tracking them, talking about them quite a bit, so it's worthy to give them a bit more airtime. We have UNH up 2.12%. We did not see a two handle. I mentioned this last night that it was a good chance we're not going to see that again. Now that you have a shift from weak hands into firm hands of the shares, and they have pricing power, and you have a lot of whales moving into the stock. Doesn't mean if the market breaks, that doesn't mean we can't come back down, sell off. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's certainly possible, but it's improbable at current. Sorry about that noise. Let's take a look at CNC, which we also own. That's off of its highs. That was measurably higher earlier. 29.56, the high of the day. Last tick was 28.85, but we'll take it. It's another W for the win column. MOH off its highs as well. 175 was resistance. We kind of expected that, and we're off the highs again. Up 1.22%. Cigna. This is one of the best of breeds in the group, if not the best of breed. Up just shy of a half percentage point. Again, we're looking at a stock that's trading off of its highs. So, what else do we want to talk about? We want to talk about what's going on today in the market. Right? So we talk a lot with members anyway about how they're manipulating the market. Now, we know the market is expensive. You have, let me see if I can bring this up. I thought it was interesting. I saw it on X, Twitter. And let me see if I saved it. I did. I shared it, in fact. So this chart here is the Goldman Sachs non-profitable tech index. So I thought this was really, really interesting. Non-profitable stocks are surging. This index, which is fired off, nothing important. Goldman Sachs non-profitable tech index has surged 66% since its April low. Think about it. By comparison, the S&P 500 has risen 31% over the same period of time, by about half. This has been the sharpest rebounds in history of unprofitable tech after dropping 33%. So investors are piling back into speculative stocks. So there's a phrase that we use when you have the equity markets that are in the process of putting in a top. It doesn't mean that we're at a top. I'm not saying that. We can move higher from here. But the phrase is, it's the dash for trash. What does that mean? It means that you have retail investors that always come in at the back half of the rally because they have you've heard of the phrase, the climb a wall of worry. They avoid stocks until all of a sudden the cab driver's telling the story about how he just made $1 million buying Microsoft stock. And then all of a sudden everybody's bullish. There's only one problem. Stocks are already expensive. They don't have the money to buy Palantir. So what do? They buy cheap stocks, cheap low dollar stocks. Price to earnings, they may not even have a price to earnings. If they're making money, they have a very high PE, but the dollar terms, the stocks are within their reach to buy a sizable amount to make a difference if they go up. So that's the dash for trash. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. Also, what we're seeing here, if you go to, I move my icons around. Right now, here is the daily chart of the triple Qs. We're down, okay? But if you take a look at the equal weighted basket, QQQ is a market weighted basket. The QQEW is actually up on the day. So right now what you're seeing is, despite the fact that you have the S&P 500 and the Qs that are down, here is the S&P 500. It's just one positive. Okay, so now it's positive. It's up by 0.02%. The however is that the equal weighted basket is now flat. Okay, this was up earlier. It faded off the highs. So you're seeing the move up those stocks that are underperforming. If you take a look at the chart of the number of NASDAQ stocks trading above their 50-day moving average, we closed out the week last week at only 48. Right now, we're back up to 50. This was higher earlier. So they broadened out the rally to keep the rally going. Here's the problem. When you take a look at names like Microsoft is the largest stock in the triple Qs, is the largest component of the triple Qs. Microsoft broke today. It was holding the support level. Maybe we don't close here. Maybe we rally into the close. I don't know. But as it stands right now, in this snapshot in time, Microsoft has broken daily support. That is a big negative for the overall markets. But what do? They'll rally the less profitable stocks, or they're making no money, to make up or compensate for the lack of performance out of Microsoft. Let's see what Apple's doing. Apple's down a bit. So these are the two largest names in the triple Qs. Both are down. I think Tesla is up. Not that it's a huge name in the Qs. It is up 1.13%. Amazon, that's up. Bullish reversal bar on Amazon. What else do you want to take a look at? Google. I'll get it right eventually. There we go. Google's down on the day. So they're rallying the rest of the market. This is the advanced decline line today, at least on the triple Qs, is moving up. You have more advances than decliners. What's holding the market down are names like Apple and Microsoft. They're pulling back. And tomorrow they may be up and the advanced decline line may be pulling back. These are not healthy technicals. At some point in time, it's going to break. So we just need to be aware of that. You don't go shorting just based upon this. You can be short, but you wouldn't go all in. Let's say hello to folks. Patrick, welcome. Talon, welcome. Chubby Charles, I love that name. Love it. Welcome. Mr. Sean, hello, sir. 4-hour reversal on CNC. Do you still like it to the long? Yeah, I still like it to the long side. We'll check out the chart. We're going to have this backing and filling. I didn't expect a straight shot up higher, so I'm not really all that worried. No new 4-hour lower low, just no follow through. It's an inside bar. They can consolidate this for a couple of days, maybe a week for all I know, and then push it back up higher. So it's fine. It's fine. I remain long. Dash for trend. Yeah. It's one of the first phrases I ever learned in this business. Okay. So let's scroll around here. Let's see how. I want to go down to a shorter time frame. I want to watch the volume into the close. CNC popping back up here. Good volume. Final five. Well, now is the final 5-minute bar. Let's watch the volume there. Let's go through UNH again. Not much happening there. MOH. All right, so we're coming off our lows on these names. Microsoft, we know it's broken support on the day. Will they rally it? They're trying to. They're trying to desperately. They know. Microsoft goes, Apple goes. At some point in time, everything goes. We didn't take a look at NVIDIA. I meant to take a look at that. That's up a percentage point. So that's helping buoy the markets. Semis up just shy of a half percentage point. My bet is that there's no volume here. Yeah, there's very light volume. Back to the 5-minute chart. Boeing. A little pullback today on Boeing. They're trying to spike it back up. Is there news here? Volatile session. The Renaissance Fund, did they add Boeing? I don't know why they keep mentioning Jim Simons. He passed away, I believe. Guy was a genius. AI. I think they're doing some stock dilution. That's why we got the most recent pullback. Big valuation. XRP. That's up. Good. Let's check out Bitcoin. Is that BTH? BTH? See? There we go. That's down by a half percentage point. So we bought more of this today. We dollar cost in every Monday. Mr. Pete, welcome. All right. What else we want to talk about here? UPS. I may start doing some analysis on UPS. They've really beaten this stock up hard. And this may be a really good longer term. This looks like it's going to go lower. Wow. Look at the beating this is taking. This is a bear flag setup. This is going to break. We're already breaking on the week. I would not be a buyer here. I think this breaks lower. Let's check in with FDX. Not as bearish, but looks like we could still have a bear flag setup. Now I was scrolling for some cheap stocks last night. I mean, across going back 10 years, price to book, price to sales, PE multiple. One of them that came up was Verizon. The weekly chart looks really good here. This is a Bollinger Band squeeze. I think this is going to break out. We're probably going to be buying some Verizon stock, yielding over 6%. What else do you want to take a look at? QQQ. We only have about 30 seconds to go. Let's see how they close this out. Final 5-minute bar. They have it negative. We're getting some selling here, broad-based selling on Qs into the close. Buyers are stepping in, but still net selling. And that's the day. They closed it red. What did they do with the SPY? That closed red as well. Microsoft, did they sell that off? Let's see. I wanted to see whether or not we close down below that. No, they didn't. They recaptured support. All right. So I said it was possible. That's what they did. That's the key. You can't make the assumption. That's why I always say if you're going to execute a trade, especially a purchase, wait until the final minutes of trade. Because if you were looking to short Microsoft and you were looking at it 10 minutes ago, think about that. Just 10 minutes ago, you would have said, wow, Microsoft is breaking support. It's time to short. Then all of a sudden, by the end of business, all of a sudden you saw that defense level had held. Now, how do you feel? All right, so wait for a break, wait for the retest, then short. All right, guys. Members, I will talk to you on Market Wrap. I'll see you there. Be well.